Hello and welcome, I'm Arumba. Thank you for joining me. Let's play some Victoria 2, Heart of Darkness. So, I have been playing Heart of Darkness Victoria 2 for quite a while on Twitch. Been doing a bunch of streaming and I've had a lot of fun playing this. This game has hooked me in. And it's been a while since I played a Victoria 2 campaign on YouTube. And I'm sure there's still some people who want to see more Victoria 2. This is the type of game that is so complicated, it's difficult to actually get into. But once you get into it, it's kind of got like that Dwarf Fortress quality where once you figure it out, it's really, really fun. The interface is just bad. It's quite bad. But fortunately, I've been working on a keyboard shortcuts mod for Victoria 2, and it's made the game a whole lot better, which is actually what really started to draw me into it. Because every time there was like an interface thing that I just didn't like, I just change it. And it's minor stuff that just, makes it easier to navigate the menus and things. But it helps quite a bit. So, I'm going to play Sweden. We've been streaming Sweden, but I want to play Sweden again because I've got a very good idea of how I want to do it, what kind of opening moves we want to do, and basically what the game plan is. So we start off rank 9, which if you're unfamiliar with Victoria 2, a couple of the basics. The game spans about 100 years, from 1836 to 1936-ish, and it's really about colonization and economy. That's the big difference. EU4 is all about war and conquest. Shadow Kings 2 is all about murder and kinslaying and incest, and then this one's about technology and colonization and building up industrialization. So we start off in 9th place, which is very significant. That makes us a secondary power. The top 8 countries in the world, as organized by their total value of prestige, industrial rank, and military rank, end up being called great powers. So we can see that we've got the United Kingdom, we've got the Russians, France, Prussia, Austria, the Ottomans, Spain, and the USA, in that order. We are in 9th place, which makes us a secondary power. Secondary powers are not really that special compared to great powers, but they can potentially become great powers by getting more points and becoming in the top 8. So that's going to be our immediate goal, is become a great power. And why do we want to do that? What's so big about being a great power? Well, great powers get extra bonuses because they can essentially they sphere other countries. And what that means is that when you sphere another country, you put them in your sphere of influence, and that means that you don't get to tax them, but you get access to all of their goods. So for example, let's just say that we somehow became a great power soon, and we're looking at the RGO output. We want to look at RGO output. So, for example, let's say that, these are the things that we make. We make a little bit of timber, we make a little bit of grain, we make some fish, we make some, a little tiny bit of coal, I think, in Stockholm. Yep. Make some iron here in Västerås. So, let's say that we wanted to get access to another good. Well, we could maybe go sphere Algeria, and now we have access to sheep, wool, we have access to whatever. So, you can sphere other countries, and it benefits you greatly. Now, the biggest change from EU4 and CK2 with Victoria 2 is that you have access to pops. There's just every single person that lives in your country is a person. It's a real person. These people are born, they have a class that they play as, that they are, and they might promote from one class to another, depending on how their needs are being met. But, when you go to war, if your soldiers die, your manpower doesn't just, magically come back. People become soldiers, and if you kill a bunch of your people, then you're losing people. People that are soldiers can't be farmers. People that are farmers are potential soldiers, but if they become soldiers, then they stop farming. So it's a really interesting mechanic, and one that a lot of people, I think, are hoping we see something like in future Paradox games, like maybe Stellaris, where we can have pops represented. So anyway, let's start with this. So how do we want to start things off? We want to start off with research. We're probably going to want to do medicine first. That's what we've done on the stream, and it just makes sense. Medicine gives us 2 or 3 very, very important inventions that we can get. You'll notice in that list down here, like prophylaxis against malaria. Or, no, that's not the one. We're looking for the one that gives pop growth. Clinical thermometers and binaural stethoscopes. So, pop growth plus 0.02%. It's very significant. It makes you grow more people. More people equals more production. More production equals more money equals more army, etc., etc. So people are good. Other than that, we also want things like romanticism, because we want prestige. That helps us become a great power. We can't do idealism yet. We want ideological thought, so that we have access to more focus points, but also because we get something in there called plurality. Plurality also increases research points. So there's all kinds of research that we want. Market structure is also a really good opening one because of the bonus to mining and farming output. I think the very first thing we're going to do is medicine. I want medicine. I want more people. We only have 1,040,000 adult males. Our total population is 4.17 million, but the working adult male population is 1 million. So only 1 million people. That's not very many. If you compare us to, say, for example, I don't know, the top country. We look at country. We were looking for national ranking. No, national comparison. The Chinese Empire has 207 million people. The United Kingdom has 127 million. Granted, this is comparing the actual total number. So we're at 4.17. So the UK has got 127. The Russians have 61 million. So they only outnumber us like 15 to 1. So we're going to need some really good guns to shoot at them with, I think. So first things first, we're going to raise taxes a little bit. We need to get some money right away. We're going to raise the crap out of tariffs. We're going to raise military spending. We're going to basically put everything at maximum because we need to get stuff done. We don't want to pay for our ships, though. We don't want to pay for our troops. This is basically like a morale slider in EU4. You don't have to have it at full. This just controls how much organization they have, which is the same thing as morale. We're going to go through our ships, and we're going to ditch everything but the transports, because we aren't going to be fighting anyone who has ships. So we'll go ahead and control, shift-click, take all those frigates, take all those, and we'll disband the second fleet that has this. So we only want the transports, because we will be going to war with like an African nation or something at some point in the near future. Okay, so we've got to do our focus points now. We're going to focus on clergy in our two highest population regions. And the reason for that is when we look at Götaland, or however you pronounce that, we have 0.5% clergymen, and to get maximum science, maximum research, we need 2% of our population to be clergy. Clergy educate people, and they provide research points. It is a state position, meaning that we pay them. The more clergy that there are in the country, we pay for that. But we want to pay for that because we want literacy. We want to teach people how to read well, read good, Center for Kids Who Can't Read Good, and we also want more research. So we're going to focus on that until we get those up to about 2%. Other than that, we have room for more military. We could train more military right now if we wanted to. We could mobilize 9 corps in 2 regiments. We have room for more ships. This is going to change in a moment since I did just delete those boats. And I think right away we're going to actually go and try to find somebody that we can attack in Africa. So like Sokoto is very weak. They have 8 brigades but no army tech. With 3 transport ships, we can only transport a couple troops down. We're going to basically abandon the homeland and just go try to invade other countries. So we will build some new transports. Let's build some navies. We want clipper transports. We'll build let's build 5 more, so we have a total of 8 transports, and we're going to make this into a naval rally point. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So we're 9th place. What's it going to take to actually get ranked up, I wonder? We have 31 points, and we need 54 to breach into this great power status thing. We'll see what we can do. So we're going to try to make some money. Taxing people this heavily is unfortunate, but you know, it has to happen. We gotta pay for stuff. Having tariffs really high makes it difficult for artisans to actually get the things that they need. So the artisans are going to be kind of pissy, but who cares about them really? They don't matter that much. There's not very many of them. How many do we even have? In all of our country, we have 85,000 artisans. So it's not very many. 8.2% of our population is artisans. It'd be nice if we didn't have to tax that much. I suppose if we could lower it, we will. Let's cut them a break a little bit. Maybe they'll be able to buy the things that they need. It's also the tariffs though that's really harming them. The poor. We don't want it to be too crazy, but we do need to make a profit. Gotta get this education taken care of. So as we continue to make more troops, we also want to immediately start fabricating a justification for war. So in EU4, you've got this thing called aggressive expansion, which kind of limits your ability to expand. In Victoria 2, it's called infamy, and there's a hard limit of 25 where bad things start to happen. It ticks down at a monthly rate, kind of like aggressive expansion. So what we want to do is we want to start getting infamy right away. We want to go and attack somebody right now so that we can take advantage of the downward tick. If we don't do that, we're essentially wasting infamy, and it's a bad thing to do. So, I've done this in the Brazil campaign as well. Sokoto is just such an easy target. Like, we got to attack them. They've got states that have tons of population in them. And we want this land. So we can't take their capital state. We can't take that one, but we can take the one right in the middle. And this state, you'll notice, has 161,000 people. Like, look at this. This is crazy. We have 1 million people in our entire country, and there's like hundreds of thousands of, Africans down here that we can not enslave. I don't want to say that, because they would actually become part of our country. They become colonial states, but we want them to work and make, what are they going to make for us? They're going to make grain and fruit and cattle and, what's this, cotton? Yeah. Hey, look, some coal. We want coal. This is all part of the East Husland state. So you can see when we zoom out there, it's that red color. So we're going to go ahead and go to Skoto. We're going to justify war. We're going to do demand concession, 5 potential infamy. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, now our politics. We have jingoism right now, which is great. That speeds up our casus belli speed. Protectionism is fine. State capitalism allows us to build factories. It's way too early in the game to be building factories, though, to really worry much about it. Religious policies, pluralism, and residency. Okay, there's nothing to really worry about there. Okay. Well, I can't actually transport very many men at all, but we're going to load some of these guys onto boats. Notice I just use a keyboard shortcut. It's so awesome. Yes, I have keyboard shortcuts for my armies getting onto boats. And we have clipper transports that are completing. They'll rally to Stockholm and we'll grab more boats, grab more troops, and just send them all down. Now we have active soldiers. When it says you have 10 out of 20 possible brigades, think about it like this. We can build more troops. Let's say we turn our active soldiers who are not currently enlisted, they're not actually a unit on the board, into troops. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to cost us more money, because if we have the spending on organization down to 0, we're essentially spending nothing on land units. So all we're doing is turning soldiers who are just sitting around into soldiers who are just sitting around. So there's no cost. This is just saying, hey, this is your total population. The percentage of people that are currently soldiers allows you to have 20 active brigades. So there is reason to train up to that 20 possible brigades number, and that's based on your military power score. We currently have 15.929 score from soldiers and army. Turning them into active brigades doesn't increase our score, but you can't have score from leaders that is in excess of your number of active brigades. So for example, if we have 15 leaders, right now we'd only have 10 points from leaders. But if we turned them into active brigades, then we could have 15 points from active leaders. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, we're eventually going to turn these into new units. As far as composition goes, what do we have right now? We currently have, we've got 7 infantry, no cav, no cannons. And the other army is, we have 1 dragoon, 1 hussar, and 1 guard. Okay. Okay, well we can't make engineers. Really all I'm looking for is I want cheap units. Cavalry would be nice, just for a little tiny bit of reconnaissance. Infantry, the irregulars have lower attack values than the infantry, but they also cost a lot less. They only cost wool. So you can see in that they cost 0.06 ducats per day, where an infantry costs 2.4 ducats per day. So they're very, very cheap. But we probably want to stick with regular infantry. Cavalry are much quicker. They have better maneuver, which means that they can flank from a greater distance. They actually do less damage than infantry do right now. A dragoon, on the other hand, does pretty good damage and also provides reconnaissance, and they're quick, but they cost a lot more. 2.43 versus the cavalry at 0.11. So it's kind of like a dragoon is it's an upgraded version of a cavalry, where an irregular is the subunit below an infantry. But then we also got the cuirassier, which is, it's more of a combat guide, doesn't provide any reconnaissance. Reconnaissance is useful for 2 things. Number 1, increasing siege speed, and number 2, overcoming the enemy dig-in penalty. So we'll talk about that as we actually get into combat. And then we've got the hussar, which is all about reconnaissance. 2 reconnaissance versus 1, and they're very quick, 6 movements, but they cost a ton, and they actually use luxury clothes and stuff. So I think we'll go with cheap stuff for now, just because our country is not very stable. We have lots of issues with economy, but we do want more cav. So let's get 2 more cav. Are we actually building that hussar? I don't want that hussar. We'll get make it 3 more cav and 7 more infantry, and we'll create a rally point over there as well for army. So we're having everyone go to Stockholm right now. We should be seeing our ships come around. There's a war happening right now between Prussia and Germany. Prussia and England. We've got a number of wars. The Texas War of Independence. The Dutch Restoration of Order to the Belgian provinces. That's what they're fighting in. Prussia's versus the United Kingdom right now. Doesn't concern us. The more we avoid war that is, difficult, the better our economy will do. Like, we want people to be buying stuff that we are making, and we don't want to actually be fighting anyone. Chimney sweepers. A young boy arose from the inside of a chimney and gently sat down on the roof. His face and clothes were blackened by the soot from the chimney. All pops become more in favor of the 14-hour workday, or hard work is the foundation of good moral character. We can make all the poor in this one. 76,000 people. We can make them more militant. Think revolt risk. Let's do the 14-hour workday. That's a good thing. I mean, it does... There's negative effects to enacting the 14-hour workday. Factory throughput goes down. But luxury needs... It's good for immigrant attraction, and it's good for reducing the amount of needs that they need and stuff. Like, in general, you want to pass all the reforms. That's kind of one of the goals of the game. I think we wait for all these transports to arrive before we send this second round of stuff. Their organization's very low. No big deal. CB generation speed goes up. Cool. So we're currently 75% of the way there. Because we're 77% of the way there, remember how it said like maximum infamy gain was 5? We'll only get 23% of the infamy if we get caught right now. So the farther we get through it, there's a chance. There's like a 6 or so 7% chance that you don't get caught. There's a formula that you can use. We spent all of our money training these troops, so that's bad. We have negative money now. A little bit more money from the poor, a little bit more tariffs. Try to keep it balanced. Eventually we want to have our people... Look, we didn't even get caught. That's crazy. No infamy. Awesome. It means we can do extra wars. There's our 5 new transports. Get on the boats. We're suffering time at sea penalty here. And we'll just land these troops. We don't actually own any territory down here, so the boats are going to have to go back right away. They're still at 100% strength, but you'll notice that the Denmark owns some land down here, and we have plans for Denmark. We do want a leader if we can. Do we have a leader? He is unfit and he's intelligent. Excellent. Attack -2. Sweet. That's really bad. Alright, you guys can go home now. Time at sea is... I wonder if you can make it all the way home. I hope so. I guess we find out. In fact, why don't we send you to the closest port? Well, we have our CB already. We're going to march over to Sokoto. And our second navy is on its way down with another 5 troops. All pops in Sweden, the percentage of people that support liberal gain consciousness. Okay, that seems fine. Alright, we're making some money again. Let's pay off our debt. And we are working our way up on clergymen. Troops are coming in from all sides. We're going to need to raise organization fairly soon as this army gets closer. We're gaining population. About 400 people over the last month. 400 adults. Happy birthday. We've slipped to 10th place, unfortunately. Looks like the Netherlands has passed us. 35 score versus our 32 score. So we want to increase, well, we need more leaders, we need more everything, really. Disbanding our ships did cost us a tiny bit of score, but we mostly had frigates. You actually need man of war to get points, and they're very expensive to maintain. And there's a minimum amount that you can organize. You have to put at least 30%, so they're very expensive to keep around. Right now we're spending £6, £7 a day on just these clipper convoys. So just the ability to send troops over there is not cheap. Alright, we're almost there, so let's go ahead and raise organization on our land troops. This is going to cost us some money. Seems fine. We'll actually head over here and drop them off in Benin. Now, when you fabricate a CB, in this game, you only have 1 year to make good on it. So if we go to you, we can see that we have a CB that expires July 11th. So it's a very short window that you have to actually act on these CBs. I hope that our second leader was a better pick. Per von Hohenhausen. Attack -1 and defense -1. Okay. Well, if you don't use a leader, you have an attack penalty of 2, so he's better than having no leader, but he's not that great. And supply is only not very good. Let's balance these out. You've got two cav. We want to have probably the dragoon can come over to this army, and 2 of the infantry can go over to this army. And we can combine and combine. And where'd my leader go? My leader got teleported up here. Okay. So he's still got his 8 brigades, no army tech. We'll declare our war, demand concession. Now we need to choose the actual state that we want. It's going to be East Husseland. Only need a little tiny bit of war score. And so what we need to do now is siege down the actual war goal, which is these 5 provinces. We need at least 75% to get a ticking war score. So we're going to have you march up there, we're going to have you march up there. We could also just go for Sokoto, his capital, which is going to be worth extra war score. You know what, that's not a bad idea. Let's start with that. Maybe we can actually get that taken care of. We are getting our organization up. Now here's the thing, we're only at 50% morale, right? So you might think, oh gosh, that's bad, you shouldn't do this yet. But because he's got no technology, this guy's cap on his ability to get organizations like 20. So we already have more organization than they do. And we're just better. Our troops are just better in like every way. He does have 24 troops in his capital. Fine, just siege this one. He wants to hang out there. I'm gonna avoid fighting him if I can. We'll just do our sieges. It'll take a little bit of time. And it looks like he's actually going to come and fight us. This leader is the guy with a -1 to defense. Nils is actually better at defense. Let's get him up there. And that's turned him around already. Well, the supply limit is 32 if we keep the army together. And the siege will go twice as fast if we keep them together, so let's just have them march as a group. Now he's going to try to come and like unsiege what we sieged, but his technology again is going to probably limit him from being able to do it too fast. About the same speed we are. I guess we'll probably have to engage him. It is in plains. Let's just go fight him. It's unfortunate that he's going to get that occupation back. Alright. So Per von Hohenhausen. How are you doing? He rolled a 6 versus a 2. They have no commander. And again, you can see when you hover right there, they only have a cap of organization at 20. So we don't even have to really do much to knock their organization out, knock their troops out, and then we just win. And then we'll just go chase the remaining army. We're suffering tons of attrition right now. Hope we don't suffer a tick. Are we going to? 27th. Yeah, we're going to avoid the monthly tick of attrition. Good. We're actually the defender in this fight. And tons of survivors for them. They still have 10,000 troops. Let's take our guy who's slightly better at attack and have him follow that army. Okay, to actually win this war, we need to get to about that little tick mark there. We currently have 7 war score. We need more than that. Hey, 0 count. Okay, so we just killed everything. Nice. Let's go for his capital. Okay, well, in the next video, we'll probably... shoot, I forgot to send these boats home. Whoopsie. Time at sea. Alright. Well. Can we, Hey, Denmark, you want to give us naval access? No. Pretty good chance no one's going to want to. Denmark, do you want to become our friend? Do you want to be an ally? Nope. Okay, well, I didn't want those boats anyway. they'll probably all sink. These ones made it back. Alright, I'm going to take a break here. I'll look forward to seeing you again in the next video where we'll win this war and then, you know, go from there. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you soon.